Word on the street is that the Lando series from Lucasfilm has finally been canceled, or is it? We wonder if Justin Simien, director of Haunted Mansion and former director of the Lando series, is actually right on the money, or if he really just doesn't know. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I'm Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is my Wookiee co-pilot, Mr. VashSky. Vash?
Oh, thank you, Jonas. It's such a nice and warm compliment. I am so glad to be here talking about Wookiees, Lando, Star Wars. Very, very interesting stuff has been happening with the Lando series, as I've heard it.
Yeah. Let's move right over here to the Lando system. This article out of Deadline, Star Wars Project Lando not moving forward, says director Justin Simien. Look at that fella right there. He sure does have a beard. Justin Simien says that Donald Glover starring Solo, a Star Wars story spin-off series, Lando, my goodness, what a mouthful, will not be happening. Collider published remarks Friday from Simien indicating that Lando is dead. How dare you? How dare you? Phrasing, guys. Simien is out promoting Hollywood Black, an MGM Plus docuseries based on the book by scholar Donald Bogle, examining race and representation in Hollywood. That's when the Lando project came up. This is the part that I want to focus on before we get into examining it. It was pretty developed, he said. There was a Bible, and by this they mean show Bible. I'm sure that Lucasfilm, they might actually burn their hands when handling a Bible these days. But there was concept art, there were scripts, but it just wasn't meant to be. He added that he grieved for the project. For me, it was to be done pretty straight on. Like, I am in grief. I do not feel good. I have to let myself feel those feelings, he said. There's so much that I experience that I get to keep forever and take into the next project. I can't obviously take the storyline or the IP or the characters, but there's so much more that I got as a maker, and that's mine. Sorry, it's too late. You can't take that part back. That's an interesting way of putting that. Lando was first announced in 2020. Many things were announced in 2020. We'll talk about that in a moment. Glover's Lando was the breakout star of Solo, and Simien had 3 seasons of Dear White People, the series he created, directed, and wrote for Netflix. It all seemed ready to pop. Why Lando fell through the cracks at Disney Plus is still unclear, but Simien has plenty on his plate. Now, this might be the other reason that Simien says it's dead. A Star Trek live-action comedy from Alex Kurtzman, who is responsible for most of current Star Trek, Justin Simien and Tawny Newsome in the works at Paramount Plus. I'm going to say this is probably part of Kurtzman's overall deal that existed here, because right now Paramount is in a, let's just put it lightly, in a transition period here, and who knows what's going to come out of them within the next few years. Simien is also kind of famous for already having said that this show was going away. Vash, do you remember that?
I do. I believe it was, maybe last year that happened? Or maybe it was earlier this year?
Yes, that is very true. Yeah. Do you remember what happened when it happened?
Ooh, I believe, you had to inform me about this, Jonas. I believe maybe it was the release of The Haunted Mansion, which, if you know your Disney history, remember that film took the slot of The Marvels, and they switched places right there, so that each of them could thrive. Oh, wait! That didn't quite happen.
Yep. Now let's go over to this article right here. And since we're talking about Lando, let's just crack one of these open. No, that's not a Colt 45. That is a ginger root beer. Anyhow, this one also from Deadline. Justin Simien on Star Wars Lando Calrissian Disney Plus series. I have no idea what's going on with it. This is from July of last year by Armando Tinoco. Justin Simien, director of Haunted Mansion and writer of the Lando Calrissian series at Disney Plus, is opening up. It was during Disney Investor Day on December. There it is again. Disney Investor Day. So many things didn't happen from that Investor Day. But Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy announced that Simien was working on a series based on Lando. However, hasn't been much said about it. Here he is again talking about how he put a lot of time and put a lot of his heart into it. The next update I got was in 2020, some years ago, so I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with it. In an interview with GQ earlier this year, Glover said that he would love to pay Lando again It's a fun time to be him. It just needs to be the right way to do it. The actor said that since the pandemic, people have reflected on how time is precious, and I'm not interested in doing anything that's just going to be a waste of my time or just a paycheck. I'd much rather spend time with people that I enjoy. Well, there's also an importance of, making a little money here or there so that you can provide for those people that you enjoy. I'll also point out that Donald Glover, the last I checked, was in charge of the Lando series, despite Justin Simien's involvement here. It was saying that Donald Glover and I believe his brother and writing partner were doing a rewrite on Lando. So this is funny, this headline coming out now saying that the Lando series is dead. I do believe that the Lando series is dead, but I also wouldn't be surprised to find out that the Lando movie is still alive, being helmed by Donald Glover and forgive me, I'm forgetting the name of the other Glover brother. That was not an intentional way of, I didn't mean to make that rhyme there. Vash, what do you think? Do you think that Lando, the series, is completely dead?
I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm kind of surprised that we're hearing about this just now. I mean, this was the spiritual successor for Solo that came out in 2018, and well, that was the first cataclysmic failure of Disney's Star Wars, and really, honestly, the entire Star Wars brand right there. Every single previous production had been successful, at least in some metric, but Solo, not so much, and it was one that, well, everybody would like to forget. So the idea of going back to that via a series on Disney Plus never really truly made sense to me, honestly, and it makes even far less sense now. But the fact that this had been developed for 6 years before actually putting the kibosh on it, that is surprising. But now, Jonas, I can officially add Donald Glover and Justin Simien to my ever-growing list of people who have been rejected by Lucasfilm in some way. That list includes David Benioff, D.B. Weiss, Gareth Edwards, Ryan Johnson, Colin Trevorrow, Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, Josh Trank, Patty Jenkins, Taika Waititi, Kevin Feige, Damon Lindelof, Justin Britt Gibson, Michael Waldron, Karen McCarthy, Del Toro, Taika Waititi, and now, obviously, Donald Glover, Justin Simien. And that makes up the Boba Fett film. Obviously, that was Josh Trank's project. That didn't happen. On that Investor Day, we got Children of Blood and Bone. That didn't happen. Rogue Squadron, that's not probably going to happen. Raiders of the New Republic, obviously we know what happened with that. And now Lando. So Kathleen Kennedy, she really does know how to run a studio. And just, you know what? When that contract comes up for renewal in October, just go ahead and sign that dotted line, baby.
There's part of me that wonders if they're just telling her that she runs a studio and every now and then something leaks out because she's so convincing at running this pretend studio that people don't know that it's a pretend studio. The television division seems to pop out with something every now and then. I'm so perplexed at whatever is going on there at Lucasfilm these days. Now, that being said, I would not be surprised if eventually this made it into theaters. Well, no, at this point, I suppose I would, because we talk about D23 on this channel every now and then, and a bunch of flags get posted by a Twitter account. And forgive me, you can go to my Twitter and see I've retweeted it. They're showing flags from all of the recent Disney properties, and Inside Out is included in there, and there's some Marvel in there, there's some Disney animation. They do have Star Wars, but it's very specifically Mando and Grogu, and then original trilogy Stormtroopers. No Rey whatsoever. So I'm wondering if Disney is...
No Acolyte? No Acolyte as well?
No Acolyte. This is so surprising that sleeper hit there, the Acolyte. You're so bad, Vash. Anyways, I just wonder what is the creative process there. I'm also going to say something that many people might find controversial on this channel. I actually like Solo, A Star Wars Story. I don't put a lot of stock in it. I don't think it is rising to the heights of the greatest Star Wars film ever. But, if the TV shows on Disney Plus were of the quality of Solo, I think I'd be pretty well pleased. The Enfys Nest reveal was probably the only thing that makes me just kind of roll my eyes a little bit, especially because Disney did it again in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And they also had that actress as Willow, or not as Willow, in Willow. She seems to be a focal point of some casting director being like, oh, well, I'm not usually focused on checking the boxes, except that particular actress seems to check a lot of boxes and makes Disney very excited. That being said, do you think that we will eventually see a Lando series? Will it be under the current regime? Will somebody eventually crack open the case here and figure out how it is that you do a Donald Glover Lando series? I don't know. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.